America's closest ally in the fight against the Keystone XL pipeline is the world's largest exporter of oil. In the latest issue of the Sierra Club magazine, the environmental group claims that Saudi Arabia is an even stronger ally for them than Barack Obama. Sierra Club says cheap Saudi oil will help stop the pipeline plan and the development of the Canadian oil sands. National Review and Telegraph columnist Tom Rogan joins us now from Washington. Tom, you and I know that this may be true, but I'm just shocked that the environmentalists are finally being so blunt in admitting it.
Yeah, well, good to be with you, Brian. I think that's really the great thing about this is that it's so clear-cut, and that where before conservatives and other critics would have been told that, look, you're playing this up and you're exaggerating and you're demagoguing against certain environmental groups, the clarity of this quote here is undeniable. And it simply emphasizes the fact that there is this fanatical vision that all that matters is that you prevent, a certain pipeline in a certain area because of a certain ideology, and anything else, whether it be human rights or the realities of the global energy market, are irrelevant.
All right, let's bring up the quote from Paul Roberts, the senior editor at Sierra Club magazine. He said, rather than cutting back production in order to stabilize oil prices, the world's largest oil producer is keeping its petroleum taps wide open, hoping to drown upstart competitors in Canada, North Dakota, and Russia in a sea of cheap oil. And they see this as a good thing because it'll kill Keystone, not only for the Canadian oil, but also for the oil coming out of North Dakota. That's the part they don't need the permit for. But this is a major problem for North Dakota. It's going to be a major problem for other oil-producing regions in the United States if revenue starts drying up from a lack of oil being drilled.
Right. And one of the issues I always talk about here is that as much as it is necessary to, of course, have a vigorous regulation regime, which we have, and, it's overdone, and a vigorous inspection regime, which we have, and, of course, it's overdone by the activists, it's also critical that we pay heed to actually the economic benefits, not only in the sense of being able to develop domestic energy supplies, but the economic benefits for people at the lower rungs of the economic ladder, whether that be in paying cheaper energy bills each month or in terms of having access to employment opportunities in a condition where unemployment is a serious problem in some of these areas. So people actually at the bottom rung of the ladder have a lot to lose from this. And I find it quite strange, quite ludicrous actually, that you find environmentalists attached to leftist sentiments who claim to be the sort of arbiters of social mobility to have so much disdain and disinterest, proud disinterest, as the quote that you just brought up emphasizes, in those issues. They just don't care. They don't care.
Well, and they don't care about the environment either. I want to bring up a pie chart, a chart that shows where America's oil imports come from. And this is without the pipeline, and 33% comes from Canada. The next bunch down are Saudi Arabia, Mexico, Venezuela. You've also got Iraq in there, Nigeria. Do you think that any of these other countries that the United States imports oil from have an environmental regime as rigorous as Canada's, Tom?
I mean, it just doesn't even need answering, does it? everyone knows the answer to that, and it's the proof of the reality here that this, as you say,
they're willing to fight to stop that. They want less Canadian oil, more Saudi oil, more Venezuelan oil because, well, it shows that they were able to stop a pipeline from Canada. It shows they're able to stop oil drilling in Canada. They don't care what happens in countries with less rigorous environmental standards.
Right. But I think a lot of this, though, when it comes down to it, is just social detachment, right? It's the dinner party advocacy. It's so that you can tell friends that again, a lot of the donors, you think about Tom Steyer in California, a big anti-Keystone guy, it's about so that people like that can have dinner parties and say to their friends, well, we managed to prevent this, and they can, toast each other with a glass of Sancerre. Like, it is not about the environmental reality. And it really isn't. And again, it's not just about those environmental and domestic issues. It's also about where would you rather put that money into your own communities and have cheaper bills and more jobs at home, or would you rather pay it to some countries in the world that really do not have a particularly enlightened view, to put it liberally, of human rights?
Yeah, well, Ezra Levant's book, Ethical Oil, showed that off brilliantly, comparing Fort McMurray's then mayor to, the fact that you wouldn't get a woman leading anything in Saudi Arabia. Tom, we're out of time. Thanks so much, as always.